Food Day, and the campaign driven by the Food and Agriculture Organization aims to end hunger and ensure that every global citizen has access to nutritious food. What steps should the continent's leaders be taking to improve food safety and sustainability to ensure communities have sustainable access to good nutrition? That's what we will talk about next with a research specialist at the Africa Institute of South Africa, Dr. Blessing Masamha. Dr. Masamha, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. So the numbers say that we spend about $50 billion a year importing food and agricultural products across the continent, but we have so much agricultural land. I think there's 65% of all of the landmass across the African continent available for agriculture. It sounds like a massive unexploited opportunity.
Greetings, Iman, and thank you for having me, and greetings to the viewers. Indeed, today is a very important day, and the World Food Day. And the theme for this year is Food for a Better Life and a Better Future. Like you said, actually, there's vast tracts of land across Africa. The challenges are in the infrastructure and also investment in irrigation, because most of the land is under rain-fed agriculture. And you can actually testify that the experiences of climate change that have become severe and more intense across Africa limits the productivity that can be realized from rain-fed agriculture. And that alone limits food availability. Of course, food security has several dimensions, 6 of them. But as you said, the vast tract of land needs investment in technical aspects, investment in technology, investment particularly in irrigation services, so that you can realize the output that is required.
Well, while we're on that point, I mean, where are we? What's your sense, Dr. Masamha, on how advanced our technology is, homegrown, African-designed technology to deal with issues like you say? It could be around water, it could be around, crop farming, a range of different things.
Well, because as you can see, Iman, when you take a regional perspective, or taking Africa as a continent alone, you realize that there's some heterogeneity. You look at a country like South Africa, which has an advanced commercial agricultural production. Ideally, you would see that there's food security at a national level because of the commercial production, the investment that was made by commercial farmers in terms of technology, irrigation, and also smart farming. But when you go to other countries, you go beyond into Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, Mozambique, you will see that there is quite a limitation in terms of investment in those aspects of irrigation, so that there's proper water use efficiency and the harnessing of water harvesting and so forth. So this can be testified by the just ended El Nino phenomenon that actually affected extremely those countries like Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Botswana. So we are at a very precarious position as Africa, because much of the agriculture production is rudimentary. You find that there's little investment that is done in terms of technology. Of course, from the Malabo Declaration, there was commitment that each country, African country, must budget at least 10% of the fiscal budget towards agriculture. And much of it is actually channeled towards inputs and so forth. But not much of it is invested into technology and infrastructure. Hence, we continue to grapple with issues of food security, again exacerbated by issues of conflicts, unresolved conflicts, as you can see in Sudan, in West Africa, in the Sahel region. Again, we have a scenario where there's about 55 million people that are extremely food insecure in the West and Central African region. So such is a day as this, the World Food Day, is of much concern to Africa.
Well, and let's then talk about South Africa and bring it closer to home. We know we're dealing with the very real impact of food insecurity here. Up to 20 million South Africans are said to be severely food insecure. Millions of children are going to sleep hungry. Blessing, about 27% of our children under the age of 5 are dealing with malnutrition, stunting, and wasting. Talk to us about the effects of food insecurity here in South Africa.
Thank you so much, Iman. That is a very disturbing situation. As we speak, from the Human Sciences Research Council perspective, we rolled out a study, the National Food and Nutrition Security Survey from 2021, and it was recently launched by the Minister of Agriculture. You would see that the extreme food insecurity at the household level, yet we report food secure, South Africa being food secure at the national level. But the results that we got shows that about 63.5% of South Africans across South Africa are food insecure, and only about 36% are food secure. So you would see that we have a crisis. And as you mentioned, there's an issue of undernutrition, stunting, obesity, particularly at the children under 5 years of age. And we have these challenges if they have protracted effects on children in their later years. So the problem is so acute. Again, you would see that we have a challenge that has emerged in South Africa of food safety and food waste as well as food loss. So these aspects have become so imminent, and they need an urgent practical solutions to deal with.
Dr. Masamha,
at a national. Yes.
Sorry, complete your thought. Sorry.
I was saying we need this at a national level and local government, so that we downscale this to the communities and at the individual and household levels. Yes.
It's so serious, Dr. Masamha, but if you contrast that against food wastage, the amount of nutritious food that is wasted in the food chain, thinking all the way from the farms to retailers, is just mind-blowing. The numbers say we waste 10 million tons annually, and this is equivalent to 30 billion meals. And there are examples that we can follow. You think about places like France, where there's legislation now where supermarkets and retailers simply can't throw away food that is still good but unsold, and they have to donate it to charities and so on. How do we use what is in the food chain already to solve the issue of hunger? You talked there about needing some interventions, urgent ones. How can we be impactful in the short term?
Yeah, sure. It is an issue of food wastage, because we would say about 2/3 of the food that is produced is lost. Those figures that you are actually mentioning, they're quite huge and concerning. So we are looking at a scenario where the supply chains of food needs to be shortened. We need to shorten supply chains. We need to change our food system governance so that we shorten supply chains. By doing so, we are able to integrate the informal traders. We are able to integrate the smallholder producers that are emerging into the broader and into the mainstream food system, particularly if you look at the food system in South Africa, which is dominated by commercial entities that are those conglomerates. So you look at a situation where we want to be able to change the food system governance, looking at the regulatory frameworks at the national level, and cascading down to the local municipal levels, the municipal bylaws that have traditionally excluded smallholder producers in urban settings and peri-urban settings. So once we have bylaws and integration of these smallholder farmers, we are shortening supply chains, and hence we are able to provide food at the doorstep, at the household. Moreover, we need to create these food banks, because we don't need to throw away food that has not been used. and then it becomes food wastage. So food wastage has become an issue. So we need to create these food banks. And one other important aspect is the improvement in the infrastructure, that particularly the sanitation, the market stalls, the transport networks, particularly if you look at issues in the city of Johannesburg. If you do a study there, you have done several studies, and they've come to realize that the informal business sector in the food system that is booming has limitations in terms of services, amenities like water, like clean water supply, energy, and clean space. So we need a change, a paradigm shift in the governance system of food system that is deliberately looking at incorporating these small traders and producers. Yeah. And we also need to establish food safety agency, food safety regulation agency. This has been said before. Even the president echoed the same sentiments in 2017, 2018, when there was an outbreak of listeriosis. So you see that food regulatory agency is needed to be established. The current one is actually fragmented across different departments. So we need a food agency that is going to be solid and entirely looking at the food safety, wastage, and supply chain management.
Yeah. Definitely something we have to take more seriously, because we know that we deal with stunting later on in life, where, you know, we're talking about more than a quarter of the population won't be able to take their rightful place in the economy and in society because of the severe ravages of malnourishment when they are very, very young. Thank you so much for talking to us, Dr. Blessing Masamha, just weighing in and acknowledging World Food Day. It's an important occasion this year on the theme, Right to Food for a Better Life and a Better Future.